Arr, he's an old sea dog. Oh, man. That's a pretty good pirate saying stupid things.
Yeah.
It is 5:47. I'm Danny Bonaduce. This is KZOK. Good morning.
I think you're going to get a call from the Seafair Pirates.
Doing what?
That was a great pirate.
You know what? I don't think I give you. Have you seen the Seafair Pirates? For the
Yeah.
most place, they're gigantic
Yeah,
people.
that's true.
They're crazy 300-pound men with. Here's what happens because they get told, "Hey, man, you can't bring your swords all around town. You can't do that." So then, I guess for any like inspection they have to go through, whatever. They put on one of their kids' toy swords, and then the people who check such things turn their backs on the old sea dogs, and they get real swords, and then they get real drunk. And real swords, and this is something I know from experience, real swords and real alcohol, and just a bad call all the way around.
I can see your point.
Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking, kids.
Doing great.
Awesome.
All right, glad to hear it. So here's the deal. It's become a high point of my day, if not my life, walking around Green Lake. And we've been doing it almost every day. And it's just about 3 miles. They say it's 2.8 miles, but then there's a couple of distance markers actually in the pavement that imply that it's 3 miles. But either way, it's just about 3 miles. And so we walk in, we have a very good time, and you know, we look at people, and I got to give my wife some real kudos. I mean, I like her anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter how that goes, she's an okay person. But when I'm walking around Green Lake, especially in this weather, there's chicks in ridiculous outfits,
Yeah.
like full blown. And I don't mean to be a jerk, and I certainly have no real interest in any woman that isn't my wife, except, hey, you're almost naked, so I get to look at you. And I forget because I impose my right to look at a girl in a thong. No kidding, thong. 2 of them, side by side.
Really?
Sisters. I don't know what the hell they were.
Probably sisters.
Probably sisters. I exercise my right to look at those, and I mean nuns, really,
Yeah,
my
right.
sisters.
Exactly.
So I exercise my right to kind of gawk, if you will. And a couple of different times, I guess I'm not used to walking Green Lake, it's a new thing, in any kind of heat where people disrobe.
Yeah.
I haven't really done that. And yesterday or the day before that may have been the first time. And at no point did she yell at me. And you know why that's cool? Because there's no real reason to yell at me. Those girls equal a car crash. I'd look at that too.
Yeah.
A car crash in a thong that are nuns.
But normally it equals you being in a car crash, right? That's happened a couple of times.
Yes.
Did you fall or bump into anything on your walk around Green Lake?
No.
Well, that's good.
I don't know, because I get real aggressive with the people who don't look up from their device. I don't
Yeah.
even like people on their devices while they're walking, even if they're being courteous.
Right,
And
but you haven't been distracted by the thongs to the point where you have become a distracted walker.
No, absolutely. Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask my wife, maybe I have. So anyway, I just I thought that was super cool of her. And yesterday we're walking. One of the things we do just as we park, because we are creatures of habit, she says, "Are we going to see one?" And I say yes or no. And that means, are we going to see a French bulldog? And it's a dog walking mecca, man. And to my surprise, it's not as often as you would think with such a popular dog. But there was a dog. We saw it, a French bulldog. His name's Teddy. We know these things. We ask. We talk.
Yeah.
First thing we say is he friendly? Because cute and little does not mean they can't take the end of your finger off.
Right. It might mean they have really sharp teeth. It'll get you.
Exactly. So I said, we went up and we talked to the person. His name was Teddy. The dog was super cute. The guy's talking to some friends. Teddy's just sitting there minding his own business when he runs and jumps into the lake. And I think that is the most bitchin' thing, because French bulldogs don't really do that.
Yeah.
And we ask a lot of questions about what do they do. Can they walk the whole 3 miles with their stubby little legs? Is that too much? No, that's just fine. Teddy can do this. Oh, really? How hot is too hot for their little paws? Blah, blah, blah. So we ask. But what we didn't know is that French bulldogs could swim. And you know why we didn't know that?
Why?
Because they can't.
Oh.
Wouldn't
Teddy
think
was
so.
being a maniac. Teddy was suicidal.
So did they run in after him?
Well, yes.
so they saved Teddy. He's okay.
Yeah,
that's good.
Teddy's good. So anyway, he jumps into the thing, and he's swimming, and I think, okay, really, I think he'd make it. But this guy apparently not willing to wager on Teddy's life.
Yeah.
But I think he was going for it. So the guy jumps in, and what a drama queen that he is. He gets Teddy out, and he puts Teddy on his back. And he's pushing his thumbs into Teddy's chest. Teddy is alert and fine and wants no part of this. So anyway, the drama of that is over, and I think I'm very happy. I also do know that they would swim. So we're driving home, and I don't like the way Amy's driving. And it's weird because I usually do like the way she's driving, except for a couple of things. Like, she stops at don't walk signs or slows down dramatically when you should just go. It says don't walk. The light's totally green. Why are we stopping here?
Yeah.
And what happens is she forces things to happen. When she's 100 feet away and should just go and drive through it, by the time she gets up there at 5 miles an hour, she's now right. That light is red and people are going by. So she causes a reaction. Does the same thing with four-way stops. She forces people to go when it's her turn. Just go now. You make sure you're to the right of the last person, or whatever the rules are on this. So,
She's just overly cautious.
yeah, I guess. I'm not sure what her motivation for doing this is. But so we're at Queen Anne Avenue, where you have to back into parking spaces, which means you have to take a left turn from your lane, cross over the other lane and to oncoming traffic, and then back up into a spot. So there's this person doing that, and they're right in front, and Amy pulls like almost up to his bumper and follows him back, and I go, you are a fully aggressive driver. You didn't need, and man, with all the things I do for somebody to get mad at me, you'd have picked like 5 other things before you picked that.
Yeah.
Like, you're an aggressive driver. You cause things that la 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 la. That's exactly what she said. I don't know why she said that. But so here's my theory on this, since it was such a minor escapade to say, you're a little aggressive. I didn't say a little. I said, man, you are an aggressive driver. It was a full-blown affront, if you will. But the car that's going backwards, if it doesn't make it, needs to pull out again to go into the spot. Am I making that clear?
Yeah,
You
that
following
makes
that
sense.
clearly?
Sure.
Well, if they didn't make it, and most people don't on the first try, she's right on their bumper.
Yeah.
They'd have to stop and wave because she also can't get by because there's a car in the thing. So when I said she's an aggressive driver, it shocked me how absolutely aggressive a wife she can be. She was out of her mind, and she made threats. She made threats against dinner.
Oh, no.
Is that even reasonable?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I threatened you, and I forget. We were having like strudel or something nice. Whatever it was awesome. And she threatened my strudel. Now, when I say strudel, I think I mean another kind of food, but I'm not positive, but she definitely threatened my strudel.
News is brought to you by Car Pros Renting Kia. Seattle fire crews had to rush to the scene of a fire on a rooftop just after midnight in South Lake Union. The fire department says the fire was reported as a deck fire on a 13-story building on the 400 block of Fairview Avenue North. This was a significant fire, but thankfully nobody was injured, and the fire crews were able to bring it under control in under 15 minutes.
There's no chance that's the place M-Bar or anything like that, is there?
No, it's the same neighborhood. I don't think that M-Bar is on Fairview.
Who else is doing decks in that neighborhood?
A lot of condo buildings.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but most condos in Seattle have some sort of community deck up on top. They believe that the structure in the case here was a wooden deck.
Right.
And that could be why the blaze was so significant. I certainly hope it wasn't M-Bar because I like that place.
Yeah, me too.
Washington driver's licenses will have a new look starting July 1st.
Still my face, right?
It's up to you.
No, on all driver's licenses. My face.
Yes. Standard licenses and identification cards will be marked with "Federal limits apply" to indicate the card is not valid for federal identification purposes and cannot be used to board airplanes. Now, we've talked about this a little bit. There's some compliance out of... They're trying to make this standard across the board, and Washington's licenses do not comply with the federal standard.
They say they're too easy to fake, right?
Yeah. So the Real ID Act was passed back in 2005. They require state driver's licenses and ID cards to have security enhancements.
And then can I get on a plane with one?
Yeah. You need to make sure you have the proper license, and I don't remember.
Right, but I don't need a passport.
No. So right now you could get the enhanced driver's license that they
That's
do.
what I thought we were talking about.
They already have that in Washington. This is the normal driver's license will now be marked with basically an asterisk saying,
limits.
hey, this
Yeah.
isn't going to count pretty soon.
Right.
But we have till 2020, right?
You have until October of 2020. I mean, for a lot of people, this might mean getting a passport if you don't have one already, or you need to go get a regular enhanced driver's license.
It's funny. I got dueling opinions on this. One is no adult American should not have a passport.
Right.
But having said that, nobody should force me to go get a document. I don't. You know what? I'm on pins. But I would say go get the passport, because if you don't have one, you're not going to travel. If you do have one and you think I'm not going to travel anyway, you still might. You have a passport now.
For good,
And
10 years.
If you have the enhanced driver's license, that actually works to get you into Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean. So
That helps.
so if you don't have a passport but you do have the enhanced driver's license, that'll still work for now.
There was a big festival that took place in Vancouver over the weekend called the Car Free Day Festival. And when you go to any type of festival, whether it's music or cars, there's always some food being sold.
Music by the cars.
That
Yeah.
too. So you think about it, right? There's always ice cream, there's bottles of water. Only this festival, one man was selling hot dog water.
Hot dog water.
Hot dog water.
Like the water you cook the hot dogs in?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't get there. I didn't think that. Is
Wow.
that what it is?
that's what it is.
Or
But
is
no
it the,
hot dogs.
or
No
is
hot
it the
dogs.
liquid that's in the
What?
package of hot dogs?
It is like in New York, they call them dirty water dogs.
Yeah.
So it's the water that sits there and boils the hot dogs.
dirty
keeps them
water.
hot. Yes. This man bottled it and was selling it. He
That's
said
fairly gross.
he said it was keto compatible for those of you on that wacky diet.
Oh, keto.
Keto. Like I said, wacky
I
diet.
got it. I understood it.
wacky.
I understood her.
Gluten-free, rich in sodium, can increase vitality and brain function. $38 a bottle.
Ooh.
There's no way that I understand this.
Well, let me explain it to you.
All right.
He did sell some. He did sell a good amount. The man who made it said he created it as a stunt. He is an artist and called it a commentary on product marketing and the sort of health quackery that people are trying to market to people. If you remember, there's this big push of people drinking raw water
Right.
and smart water,
Asparagus water?
asparagus water. And he's like, come on, people, this is all really stupid. And he said he actually sold 60 liters of hot dog water. That people, even though he did this as like a stunt, people bought it.
You know, what it says to me
What?
is that Canadians are every inch as stupid as Americans.
Yeah.
Because they could have gotten away with that here.
Aren't you a little curious to taste it?
No.
Well, because I think I know exactly what it tastes like.
Yeah.
I've made
Salty.
hot dogs, yeah.
Salty, smoky.
Oh, you do better hot dogs than I do. Stupid rubbery. That's what I'm going with.
President Donald Trump, late yesterday, has directed the U.S. trade representatives to prepare new tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese imports as our two nations move closer to a potential trade war. The tariffs, which Donald Trump wants set at a 10% rate, would be the latest round of punitive measures in an escalating dispute over what he sees as a large trade imbalance between the two countries.
You know, one of the major problems with Donald Trump, and there's several, is that he lies, which I'm assuming all, politicians do. They
Yeah.
lie. That's okay. But he lies when it's 75 degrees out. He said, we've never seen a day with this much rain ever. He's like crazy about his lies because of what he said about the Chinese tariffs and how badly they treat us on other things. And dairy, they're killing dairy and they're killing farmers. If that were true, good tariff them. I just can't tell if he tells me the truth. The Chinese could be going, hey, man, they say sup a lot in China. Sup? We don't do any of that stuff, so it's hard to tell.
Well, the first round of these tariffs were going to be on $50 billion worth of Chinese goods. And he says this is in retaliation for intellectual property theft.
Yeah.
Those tariffs were then quickly matched by China on U.S. exports. But this is a whole separate round, $200 billion worth of goods. We just don't know what those goods are.
That's why they call it a trade war. You know, we're going to do it, then you're going to do it, then we're going to do it back.
Now, Wall Street, of course, is concerned. They say that this could strangle the economic growth that Donald Trump has achieved. And his former top executive advisor, Gary Cohen, says that this tariff battle could result in price inflation, consumer debt, which are historic ingredients for an economic slowdown.
Right.
So, of course, a lot of people watching this, Donald Trump says he's not worried about it having economic ramifications because he believes that this is a war we will win.
Okay, and it's it's fairly true, the intellectual property thing with China as as a country, as a political body, they steal. There was a Chinese professor on TV. He still lives in China, which I was surprised he was interested. And his quote was, "We don't invent, we steal, and then we make it better, cheaper."
Yeah.
The World Health Organization says compulsively playing video games now qualifies as a new mental health condition. There are some critics, and
Just because one girl.
the numbers of people playing video games, the number of adults playing video games, and the number of people who say their lives have been dramatically altered by the lack of ability to stop is pretty staggering. 2 billion people worldwide, adults, game. And many of them do so irresponsibly, as in you are late for work, you neglect your family.
Are you talking about your husband now?
Matt only plays one video game.
Yeah.
And
A day or just in
once
life?
But he'll do a bender for like 4 or 5 days at a time.
Why would he do Bender? I think that's a crazy thing to even say that he would do.
The game that Matt plays has an ending. So as soon as he gets through the game and you achieve everything, it's over.
Okay.
So I forget
Is he happy?
Is he happy?
Yeah,
At
when
the
he gets
ending,
to the
yeah.
end.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he loves it, but it's not like playing Halo or what's another like big video game that people are playing.
Fortnite. That's
Fortnite.
the big one right now.
But Fortnite's more for younger folks, but there's all these different games that you are constantly playing and trying to get better scores. The one that Matt plays is a one and done.
Yeah.
So he hasn't played it in a year.
So
But-
no, he doesn't play video
Now he
games.
doesn't play it. They'll come out with another one, and then he will play it every single night for 3 to 4 hours.
But he says, "Oh, I can stop anytime."
Yeah.
I'm not addicted.
But for a lot of people, it's the games that don't have endings. So we talked about this pretty recently, how I used to be addicted to Tetris.
Right.
I love Tetris. I would play that all the time. So imagine if you got home from work, Danny, and the first thing you did was sit down in front of the TV and you played video games for 8 hours. Chances are you wouldn't be walking Green Lake. You'd be neglecting your
I would
wife.
definitely not be walking Green Lake. I'd be, you know what they do? I would invent Green Lake, the game. I'd do both. And I'd play, I'm a genius. I'd play either on the treadmill or on the stationary bike.
Oh yeah.
And it would be called Green Lake. And there'd be dogs and little kitties. I know there's no kitties, but I like kitties.
But I like in your scenario that you're still working out.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are not doing any of that stuff.
No,
They're-
I have every intention of getting old really soon, and I'd like to be prepared for it. You know what I mean? I want the
Yeah.
circulation. I don't sit nearly as much as I could.
Good for
I
you.
walk almost constantly, and it's not anything where I have any more discipline ever. I want my life in 10 years from now, because I'm 58 now. So when I'm 65, I would like my life to be awesome. I wouldn't like
Yeah,
65. I'm retired. Did you notice that everything hurts and I can't sleep and I got to pee all the time? And that's already happening, by the way.
So the World Health Organization has classified gaming disorder as a separate condition, and it will serve a public health purpose for countries to be better prepared with identifying this issue. This is a huge issue in Japan. Huge, huge problem. So they're thinking the World Health Organization recognizes it. It's a step towards helping people. There is a bitter divorce battle that has taken a bit of a strange turn. It's a billionaire bond king named Bill Gross. He and his ex-wife, they are divorced.
They are divorced. Okay.
Are still battling. According to her, she is suing him. He made her house smell like vomit, flatulence, and dead fish.
All right.
This was almost
He did
14,000.
it like physically. He made things smell like that. Because there was an old prank when I was a kid, sewing bay shrimp or whatever they're called in people's curtains.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd never find them, and your house would just reek like that. Or he just didn't bathe.
No, something similar to that. So he would place dead fish in air vents, unbeknownst to her.
That's that.
He bought toot spray. I think Derek gave you some for Christmas.
I
Some
don't
fart
need
spray.
no stinking spray. Yeah, but those sprays, they don't stink. They're a sound, and you go, ha ha ha.
This was actual scent. And he would buy all these different sprays and then spray them all over her house.
Sure.
And he left the home worth about $36 million in utter chaos and disrepair, according to court papers filed yesterday.
Wow. But I understand it. You know, you need to call Rick Jones when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Plus, he would not mind a billionaire client. But, you get mad and you will do crazy things in divorce. If I'd have had my way during my divorce, I would have gotten custody of one of her legs. So she can't dance or whatever thing that made me mad that day.
But when you go through a divorce, a lot of times it doesn't just end right there. You're still so angry years and years later that this man, according to her, was still harassing her. They're divorced.
I can totally see that. Remember I told you guys, if my ex-wife comes home and there's a flaming arrow stuck in her house, it was probably me.
Yeah.
And that was yesterday.
Ryanair, the discount airline that
It's Seacrest, right?
he has a lot of power across the world, but this is not his.
All right.
This is a discount airline that does a lot of flights from the London airports. They go from Ireland as well. These are the ones that you can take like a $30 flight to Ibiza.
Neat.
And this is also the one who has had a lot of problems with people getting drunk and disruptive. I'd say probably once every other week, we've got an issue of somebody doing something on Ryanair.
On the $30 flight to Ibiza, I mean, can you imagine that people are getting rowdy and drunk?
Well, according to Ryanair, the flights are really short, but people go to the airport and they're so excited to party in Ibiza, they get wasted.
When I was talking with my sponsor, I'm not drinking these days, and we're listing triggers. And my number one trigger to like, oh man, I want to drink right now is an airport bar.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And then followed by airports, then followed by vacations. So
Is it nervousness of flying, or is it just excitement for a trip?
Just, I've never been to a place through an airport where you didn't end up with time to drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm never running to a plane. That doesn't happen. I get to places on time, even drunk. So yeah, that one, and literally on the plane, and back in the good old days when you could sneak your own booze on there,
Yeah.
I would do that not because they wouldn't give me booze. They wouldn't give me booze fast enough. They'd never serve you at the rate I drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I remember when we went to spring training and we were all at the airport. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. And you said, why aren't you guys going to the bar? Don't you guys want Bloody Marys? Don't you guys want to go get drinks?
Was I sober at that point?
You were struggling to be sober at that point, or you had
Struggling to be sober right now.
But it was pretty fresh for you.
Okay.
And we were like, we don't want to drink. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, no, that's a thing. And I've noticed it with other alcoholics and friends of other alcoholics. We want you to drink right now. How can you possibly not be drinking right now? I'm better about it, but not great.
Well, Ryanair is hoping that the airports will assist. They said they've had so many problems. The most recent one over the weekend, a flight from Dublin to Ibiza had to stop in Paris because so many drunk people were disruptive. They are now hoping to have the airport assist in not serving people to the point of them getting drunk.
Well, it's going to have to be a kind of a podunk airport.
It's Dublin.
Yeah, I guess. I've never been there, but Dublin has serious problems with alcohol, and so does Scotland. Scotland has taxed the bejesus out of most alcohols to the point where a quart or whatever, a liter, can be over $100.
A couple with active arrest warrants thought they were staying incognito when they noticed a law enforcement vehicle behind them, and they said, oh, let's just pull into a driveway. They'll think we're home, and the cop will keep driving.
It's a good plan.
No, it's not. I can tell you right. I got it.
Well, they said that oftentimes this is a tactic that people who are either drunk driving or who have arrest warrants do, assuming that the cop will see them pull in a driveway and assume they're home and just keep going. Except in this case, the two bad people, the driveway they pulled into was the home of the cop who was following them.
Oh.
What are the odds of that?
He said, well, what are the odds of that? He said it's actually a very common tactic, but this is just bad luck for them that they pulled into my house.
Yeah, I've done it.
Oh.
And, you read about some of these certain that I can think about. Dana Delaney, is that a person? Mm-hmm. I think she got it and pulled right into her driveway and then locked all the doors and just wouldn't talk to the cops.
Oh, yeah.
You're pretty ballsy, young lady.
Video taken by a Colorado man captures a very strange occurrence during a big windstorm. The clip was then posted to the man's Facebook page. It shows residents at a park enjoying a beautiful sunny day out when a sudden gust of wind picks up the portable toilets and throws them across the sky.
Oh, that's gross.
So I'm trying to think of a nice way of putting this. Fluids can be seen.
Oh, yeah.
That's rough when you can see the fluids.
So it picked it up with such force, and it flew a good football field, and it was jostling stuff around. We'll put it that way.
Why was Jocelyn there?
It's a toilet tornado.
It was a toilet tornado.
Was anybody in there?
Thankfully, no, because that person would be traumatized for life.
I told you this when I was 13, maybe. Jim O'Neill and I pushed another Jim Kuntz, down an embankment in a construction site in a porta potty, and he had to go to the emergency hospital. I mean, it could have been from the fall. He did roll down the hill covered in poop, but I think it was just the trauma, and we were in big trouble, man.
As well as you should have been.
Yeah.
That's a terrible prank.
Yeah, we're 13. What do we know?
And you never saw him again.
Jim Kuntz? I don't know about never, but no, he wasn't our friend ever again.
Well, sometimes in the morning, you're rushing to get ready.
Yeah.
I've been known to put some makeup on in the car, if you don't have enough time to get everything done. In New York, one woman took it to the next level. There is images of her, Times Square, on the subway platform, shaving her legs.
Just standing on the, sitting.
She's sitting down on a bench, waiting for the subway train, and footage was captured of her.
What's up with you chicks, man? Didn't somebody just shave their legs in the pool?
Yes,
Yes.
hotel.
What's up?
pool.
You're all gross.
Florida, ew.
Chicks, ew.
Chicks, man.
Chicks, man.
Chicks, man.
Ew.
How about some good news?
Love
Yeah.
that.
Taco Bell announced they are offering a new combo deal with the introduction of the $5 steak nachos box.
Yeah, I've seen commercials for it. It looks pretty good.
I saw one commercial yesterday where it's like a chick and she sits down with a dude and they're outside having their lunch and he's like eating a salad and she's like seductively eating this steak nachos box.
I don't know any way to seductively eat nachos. Unless you don't mind hot cheese running down your chin or something. I'd go, okay, I get it. You're trying to be seductive.
That sounds hot.
Yeah, literally.
So Derek is excited for this news. $5 steak nachos box. It also comes with a medium fountain drink.
They're making a real run for it, not south of the border, but they're making a real run for it because I always think of Taco Bell as a third-class citizen in the fast food world. Like, they don't even count with me. It's McDonald's, Burger King, a Wendy's. I never think, oh, yeah, Taco Bell. But they've been going crazy with their chalupas wrapped in cheese and chicken face or whatever it is. Pretty impressive.
It's the new products, and they don't often stick around very long, but they get us excited. We talk about it.
It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida. Story of the day.
Yay!
Daryl Royal Rydell was pulled over. He said he was in his pickup truck and got a little nervous, saw the cops, fled, and then eventually did stop, got pulled over. When the cops got out of the vehicle, walked up to Daryl's vehicle, he had a beer in his hand and chugged it, crushed it, threw it to the ground and said, "I'm not drunk." He thought, if I'm going to go to jail, I might as well finish this beer.
Yeah, but he's going to go to jail for open container while driving if he is, in fact, not drunk. I don't think he is, in fact, not drunk. I think he's drunk. But his plan would have worked if he'd have blown a .08 or a .07.
And now he's tacking more stuff on. He's got littering, too.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
$500 fine, which nobody enforces.
He's got a whole slew of charges: DUI, fleeing from a deputy, driving with a suspended license,
Oh,
and littering.
all right. This guy's an idiot.
Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
Got a lot of dumb criminals in the news. News this morning was brought to you by Car Pros Renting Kia. But wait, there's more. When we come back from our short break, a very cool announcement from Steve Miller and Pete Frampton. What beautiful...
Pete Frampton?
Oh, yeah, we're real
I've
tight.
never heard of him referred to as Pete Frampton. Pete Seeger, Pete Townsend.
Yeah.
He might be Peter Frampton to you, but me and him, we go
All
way
right.
back.
Thank you.
What beautiful blonde actress was hospitalized after trying to harm herself and her family?
Really?
I'll tell you about this crazy story. The Red Hot Seattle Mariners. We've got tickets for you to win next. Frampton has been out on tour with Steve Miller a lot.
Yeah.
They are thick as thieves. This is their second summer consecutively touring together, joining forces each night to jam through all sorts of songs. So they said a lot of times they collaborate.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had no idea about this. I thought you'd see whoever the opener was, let's say Peter Frampton, and then Steve Miller, and maybe they'd do a song together as an encore. They hit the stage together and start playing?
They've been jamming together.
Neat.
And Steve Miller says they're doing songs like Freddie King's Same Old Blues, Elmore James's Stranger Blues, Casey Douglas's Mercury Blues.
So where do I go to get my money back?
But they're doing their own songs as well.
Right,
but they're
of
doing
course.
some blues songs. They said it's been really fun. It's been an added bonus to the tour, a really great musical combination. Muddy Waters, Ray Charles, people are really digging it.
I like those people, too.
And what they've said they are doing, Peter Frampton and Steve Miller, recording every show, and they will put it out as an album.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Super
Now,
cool.
You know
Yeah.
that worked pretty well for Peter Frampton in the past.
Yeah, recording live. I was there.
And that
Oh,
was...
that's not true at all. He played those songs. And I think we already had the album. That was also at Angel Stadium that I've only been to for concerts.
Well, Peter Frampton Comes Alive was a huge seller. And they said,
That's me playing guitar.
That was good.
Thanks.
I mean, after you explain what it is.
Yeah, right. Oh, otherwise it's a duck being crushed.
we are giving you a chance to win tickets to Foo Fighters at 7:20. They are at Safeco Field on September 1st. And we're getting word that Dave Grohl and Pat Smear will be on stage together, and that's because Chris Novoselic, Pat, and Dave Grohl are all going to be sharing the stage because Giants in the Trees are added to the bill.
I did not even put that together. We were talking about this off air, and we are talking about Chris Novoselic. I didn't put it together.
Oh, right,
Most of Nirvana, the
Yeah.
living members of Nirvana. I did not get that till this second.
Yeah.
Neat.
So the Giants in the Trees are going to be doing a couple of different shows with Foo Fighters, but he just did a show in Ballard with this band, and it's definitely more like adult alternative. It's not melt your face rock.
A little experimental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good.
I'm not a big fan of experimental. I'm a
It's
big
not
fan.
jazz.
I'm a big thing that are like practice and then done well.
Yeah.
Don't experiment for my $19.
Elvis Costello has announced a North American tour for later this year. He says he's got a new album on the way. We don't know when the album is coming out, but we do know when Elvis Costello will be here in Seattle.
We do?
Paramount Theater, December 3rd.
Okay. I like him a lot.
I do too. I'm a big Elvis fan. So that's, far off in the future, but Paramount Theater, smaller venue. So it should be a fantastic show from Elvis Costello. And speaking of live concerts, Lauryn Hill is heading back out on the road. The Miss Education of Lauryn Hill turns 20 this year.
I don't know what that means.
The Miss Education of Lauryn Hill. This was a
Turns
huge
20.
album.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had no idea it was an album.
Huge album. You know this song that's playing right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's going out on tour with a rotating cast of characters, including Dave Chappelle, Nas, De La Soul, A$AP Rocky, Busta Rhymes, Big Boy, SZA, Santi Gold, and more.
Big Boy, the disc jockey?
Big Boy is a rapper.
What's Dave Chappelle do? He just does stand-up?
I think so.
Oh, that's cool.
Which
Yeah.
is crazy. Now, there's good news and bad news when it comes to this. Yes, there is a date here. Lauryn Hill will be at the Acesso Showwear Center in Kent, September 15th. The bad news is Dave Chappelle is not on that date. Santi Gold, De La Soul, and Shabazz Palaces.
Shabazz Palaces. I have a Shabazz condo, but it wasn't the same. So didn't Lauryn Hill have like a real tumultuous love life?
I believe so.
Wasn't her husband cheating on? Was it one of her husbands and/or boyfriends who cheated and had babies? Was it Ziggy Marley? Mm-hmm. Yeah, her life went crazy for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see she's back. She's a talented girl.
A veteran Delaware rock musician was performing at a brewery, and this band, well loved throughout Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, they were covering Nirvana's Breed. They were melting faces. They were rocking out. When the song started to come to a close, the guy who was rocking out with his guitar out fell onto his stack of amplifiers, and died on the spot.
Oh.
Oh,
4
such
years
a
old.
happy story until that moment.
He's been in a lot of different punk and hard rock bands, hardcore bands, and then all of a sudden plays Nirvana's Breed and dies on the stage.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody who plays that song dies. It's a Curtis.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a terrible story, a terrible end and all, but for a musician,
Yeah.
going out,
Although I'm
Playing
not a
this?
big fan of that. Oh, he died doing what he loved.
Yeah. Having a heart attack, apparently, was what he loves.
Drowning for the scuba diver I know.
Heather Locklear has been hospitalized after she threatened to kill herself. She had called some family members. They were concerned. They went over. She threatened to kill her parents. Tried to attack her
Her
parents.
parents have to be 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
You could just jump out of the closet and go boo. One of them would go.
She was acting so erratically that her parents called the police. They took her into custody, took her into a psych hold. And they said that they responded to the same house where she had been arrested just a few months ago, and now she's being held for a psychiatric evaluation.
What is happening to Heather Locklear?
I know.
She used to be, and I don't mean to be mean to her because I'm a fan, but she used to be, I think, in a lot of people's perception, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Yeah.
Now take the most beautiful girl in the world, and I believe she had 2 or 3 network series at the same time. Back in the old days when they weren't paying, I bet she was making $250,000 a week.
Yeah.
And you're that hot? What is, some people who totally should not kill themselves are killing themselves. At least she only was discussing it. But, there's still, and I bet I speak for a lot of people, when we'll just be sitting there doing nothing and think, why is Anthony Bourdain dead? How is that possible that guy's dead?
Yeah.
So she did threaten to kill herself, threatened to shoot people, and they said they were looking for a gun, but it did not appear she had access to any. She is 56 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's had a rough year, though, right? Didn't she get arrested for domestic violence earlier this year?
Yeah, just the other week at that house.
Moviegoers seeing The Incredibles 2 will now be warned about flashing lights.
Oh, my God, Becky.
This is strobe lights, flashing lights. There is a scene that goes on for 90 seconds, and that some of the scenes are a little bit shorter, but they do use strobe lights, and people with epilepsy can be affected. So there have been a handful of minor incidents, but they are now warning people before you go see Incredibles 2, despite the fact everybody and their grandmother just went, that
Right,
be careful.
and I didn't hear. I thought that we were being warned, but not one single actual epilepsy event occurred at this movie.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
people who, are whistleblowers or want to do good or whatever it was. But I had heard none of it actually happened, and now they're going to be warning us about it. Scare my little epileptic kid.
But it's just people who already have epilepsy, right? I can't catch it from 90 seconds of this movie.
No,
Nope.
certainly not.
It does affect people who are susceptible to migraines, and some people who have chronic illnesses are affected by strobe lights as
And
well.
peanut allergies.
Will Ferrell has a new project,
Really?
and it's a bit unusual. He is going to co-write and act in a new comedy movie about the Eurovision Song Contest. The film is cleverly called Eurovision, and it will be about the International European Music Competition. So think how he's done Anchorman
Right.
and that auto racing one where it's something real, but then he makes it a parody.
Right.
The Eurovision contest, people in Europe, you lose their mind.
Lose
over.
their minds. And I think before it was all fashionable, if you will, a young drag queen won with a full beard.
Oh, wow.
Real handsome cat with a beard in a very nice gown. And there was all these protests and weirdness from real religious countries and stuff like that. And the guy still won it. And I heard him sing it was like an angel with a beard and a dress, but like an angel.
Your favorite band, ABBA, won back in 1974. Celine Dion won in 1988.
They can't get them all right.
And it does look like this will be a Netflix production.
Cool.
Being a Netflix production doesn't necessarily mean it's only on Netflix. That some of these movies do actually
Yeah,
make it to theaters as well.
I didn't fully understand Netflix last week, but I understand them less this week when I hear, oh no, it's on Netflix and Channel 4 and HBO. Like, how is that possible?
The streaming services are starting to push to get their movies out in theaters, one, as a revenue stream, but mostly because it makes them eligible for awards and stuff that
Yeah.
they can't get if they're only streaming.
Well, and the weird one, too, is Amazon was behind that Casey Affleck movie that was nominated for a bunch of stuff.
Oh,
it's a really
By
sad
the
one.
Shore or something
yeah,
like that.
not Mystic River, but something similar.
Yeah, the
Super
one where
sad.
he's not going to adopt a kid or whatever.
Yeah, right.
The one where Matt Damon turned it down so he could go do the Chinese ponytail movie.
Yes.
Manchester by the Sea.
That's it.
Has anybody ever seen the Chinese ponytail movie, by the
No.
way? Oh, my God, I've seen it 10 times.
Oh,
It's
really?
the worst thing ever. And he does an Irish accent or something through it, too.
Wow.
We are here for the guns. What? Why are you doing that in your ponytail?
But Manchester by the Sea was an Amazon production.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But made for movies, for movie theaters. They didn't put it out on their own streaming service. They made it to be an actual
Right.
movie.
Same thing with The Big Sick.
Yep.
That one was really good.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
You see that one?
Which
Danny?
one was it? I think yes. But which one
Ray
was it?
Romano was
Yes.
like the dad of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
sick girl. Yeah.
I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
I didn't lose my mind, but I thought it
You
was good.
lost that long ago.
Oh, and I kept it that way.
Let's take a look at sports.
Sports.
Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. The Mariners, Red Hot Mariners, off yesterday. Unfortunately, the stupid Houston Astros won again last night, 12 straight. And they had been losing, and then all of a sudden, won in the end.
Yeah, one in the end.
The Mariners,
That'll hurt, too.
The Mariners head to New York City to
New
play
York
the
City.
Yankees.
Get a rope.
4:05 start time. You can watch it on Root Sports. Marco Gonzalez on the mound and Domingo German for the Yankees.
Domingo German, huh? Hey, poor confused lad.
So 4:05 start time on the road, but we are going to give you a chance to win tickets to an upcoming Mariners game by playing in studio Mariners KZOK music trivia.
In studio, Mariners KZOK music
That's-
trivia.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's what we're going to play.
Right on.
Here's how it works. We're going to play you a song clip, and then you start calling if you can tell us the title, artist, and year it came out. First person to correctly do so wins tickets to an upcoming Mariners game. Derek, play the clip. All right, you think you know it? You need to know all three. Song title, the artist, and the year it came out. Call right now, 800-252-1025. I don't know why, but I almost just said who the artist was.
That'd be bad.
The artist, blank, blank,
By that,
blankety,
yeah,
blank,
yeah.
blank.
It wasn't Pete Frampton, was it?
Me and him are
Like
thick as
this.
thieves. UW baseball, a heartbreaking game yesterday. Washington had leads of 3-0 and 5-4 before a massive rain delay in the sixth inning that went on for hours.
Oh.
When they came back, the Oregon Beavers had the bases loaded. The final was 14-5.
I kind of think they should just continue to play no matter what.
Yeah.
Football guys do it, playing like 1 degree in Green Bay, no less.
Yeah, the reason they have to halt any sporting event is thunder and lightning.
I think they just take away the aluminum bats and everybody's going to be fine.
So, yeah, they were winning, and then all of a sudden, 14-5, season over for UW. It was a great season, their best.
Oh, they're out now, though?
They're out.
Oh, there's only like 37 teams left in the
Yeah.
College
That's
World
right.
Series.
And Oregon State will play their elimination round today. The Storm, tonight, the Las Vegas Aces are at the Seattle Storm with a tip-off of 7 o'clock. The Warriors, basketball, men's basketball. We know the Warriors swept the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-0 in this year's NBA Finals.
We do know that, yeah.
LeBron James, it was tough for him. He appears to have hit something and injured his hand in anger.
Yeah.
There were images of him crying.
What, he hit that other player that didn't know they were not ahead?
No, but it was after that game. Apparently, he punched a wall or something.
Yeah, they are just calling it a self-inflicted hand injury.
Steph Curry's got to be saying, it's fake. He wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
He just lost, and he's a bad sport.
Yeah.
He's still my favorite current player,
Steph Curry
No.
or LeBron?
LeBron James.
Gotcha.
And all because he was good in a movie.
Yeah.
Well, there's called LeBron's Tears.
Oh, jeez.
That's fantastic.
According to this brewery, little known fact, KD, Steph, and Clay take opposing teams' hopes and dreams and turn them into soul-crushing three-pointers. We took the tears from Sir James's Game 1 loss and distilled them into a hazy IPA just for you.
I can't decide if I think it's funny or too mean to be funny. I got to go with funny.
It's funny. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Don't think LeBron will be drinking this one.
No.
No.
In surprise hockey news, The Washington Capitals, they won the Stanley Cup
Yeah, go Tips.
just, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And yesterday, the coach resigned.
Oh,
That doesn't normally happen.
I mean, I guess maybe.
Yes and no. It knee jerk, that's what you think. Barry Trotz just won. So retire, go out on top. No, he is unhappy with his contract and had an out clause that said if you win the Stanley Cup, you get to leave if you so choose. And he
Wow.
said, I'm out of here. So
No way.
he said his raise was not enough this past year and that he has it out. He will take it.
All right, I'm thinking about this. And one is they're going, well, is he such a great coach that he'll crush us next year? And I don't think that's it. It's such arbitrary stuff that makes you win the Stanley Cup. Besides your coach and your players, everything has to align. Here's what they are fearing, and that is he knows all our tricks.
Yeah.
He can say, here's what they do. I'll play. Let me be this team's coach. Do you think they'll immediately give him some more money to come back, or that's it? It's over.
It's over.
Wow.
I don't know why when this was a possibility, they didn't offer him some more money.
Yeah.
Because he's a great coach and he will go elsewhere.
They called his bluff and they were mistaken.
Yeah,
That's what
I
happened.
bet. World Cup yesterday, Sweden defeated South Korea 1-0. Belgium defeated Panama 3-0. England defeated Tunisia 2-1. Today,
I
Colombia.
do feel a little bad about not joining in on that one.
Presently, Colombia and Japan have a match. Derek, do we know a score on that?
Right now, Japan is winning 2-1. The game only has a couple minutes left, and Colombia got a red card in this game, so they're down a player.
What is that?
Ooh.
I've seen it on TV. What's a red card?
When you do something very egregious and you have a player sent off the field, so you play one man less than the other team. for the rest of
Any
the game.
man or the guy who made the
The
egregious?
guy who made the foul.
Wow. And by the way, and thank you for update. Nice use of the word egregious. I appreciate that.
Later this morning, Poland plays Senegal at 8. Russia plays Egypt at 11. The Mariners on the road playing the New York Yankees. 4:05 start time on Root Sports. But as you know, we are still giving you a chance to play Mariners KZOK music trivia. We play you a clip. You call in to win tickets to an upcoming game. Derek, play that clip again. Now, what always gets us is the year, but Don in Bellevue knew that was Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo from Rick Derringer that came out in
77.
76.
1974.
Ah.
Don in Bellevue, congratulations, my friend. You are going to the Jeep Winners window in our lobby to pick up tickets to what, Derek?
Dawn won tickets for the game on June 30th at 7:10 p.m. versus the Kansas City Royals, which just happens to be Turn Ahead the Clock night.
Turn ahead the clock, 9.
The future is back on Saturday, June 30th, when the Mariners turn ahead the clock versus the Royals on the 20th anniversary of the original event. The Mariners will don futuristic threads, and the first 20,000 fans will receive a futuristic Mariners cap courtesy of Alaska Airlines. Blast off to mariners.com for tickets.
All right, your next chance to win is tomorrow morning at this same time. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, find them at 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
If you get a DUI in the fine state of Washington, they'll be going after your license. They could incarcerate you. Call a lawyer. Go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY. They'll meet you free of charge. That'll be in Seattle, Everett, or Tacoma. So if the unfortunate happens to you and you do get yourself a DUI, don't delay. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. You know, I believe that the hottest ticket in town is now and is going to be for a while because the show doesn't go on until September, I believe. The Foo Fighters. Okay, dig that. We've got a game where you can win tickets to see the Foo Fighters at Safeco. It's called What the Foo. Be here at 7:20. We'll explain.
Yeah, Foo Fighters are September 1st at Safeco Field.
Wowie.
And they're just so good live. And Safeco is going to be fantastic. So definitely want to win those tickets. And everybody loves Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Not
Paul
a bad...
McCartney does. I know that, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Dave Grohl because everybody loves him.
Yeah.
But there was a story about Bill Murray, and he's going to be opening up a food truck with some business partners. And I was thinking, man, like Bill Murray is no Dave Grohl. I don't mean like in the music world or anything like that. Like
Right.
Bill Murray, he's hilarious, but he's weird.
He is weird. I used to think it was an act, but now I think he needs to be medicated.
I don't know that I'd want to go into business with Bill Murray, although I love the idea. What he's doing is making a food truck park.
I can't imagine that he's going to be a hands-on guy picking the cuisine, picking out how much things cost or anything like that. I would absolutely go into a food truck business with Bill Murray just because a food truck's a food truck till Bill Murray gets there.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of business they're going to do anyway.
Yes. But he does like to show up at golf events and people's weddings. That would be my concern. Going into Bill Murray, into business with Bill Murray, you would actually be in business with crazy ass.
That he's too erratic to be
Yeah.
a business partner.
Yeah, and that hair.
If you have this information, though, right? Can't you protect yourself legally? Like, you can't do that much stuff, Bill, and you're certainly not in charge of the money.
He's definitely going to be a draw. I think you're right, Dan.
I think he's worth it.
Well, and I guess if you're looking at it from that perspective, I guess I'm also thinking, though, you'd be spending time with Bill Murray. Like, if I went into business with Dave Grohl, maybe we'd open like a record store. Like, that'd be kind of fun. You hang out with Dave Grohl.
Because I think, what Dave Grohl really needs is to make about 85 cents on old records. Perfect. But if it's a dream,
space.
but if it's a dream thing, then it's a dream thing, and
Sure.
it's really it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think.
But if you had to pick someone to go into business with, who would you pick and what would your business be?
I would pick Rick Steves, the travel guy from PBS, and I have all his books. So I've already given this guy money.
Edmund's treasure, Rick Steves.
Right. And here's the thing on Rick Steves, that if you're going to go somewhere we haven't been before, I should have gone William Shatner. Places you've never been before. Tour guide. But it would be a certain kind of tour with Rick Steves. And what I would do is small independent boats, because it's a thing I've wanted to do. So it'd be you're whoever you're taking with you, your captain, and who's ever cooking and cleaning. And there's just a single person, 3 people on a big yacht that could pull into personal marinas. That's what I would. And then you go party in town. I think that'd be great.
So then Rick is like your tour guide when you get to that city?
No, because he's a pain in the ass goody two shoes. I want to get everybody drunk and be stupid. And
So you're the
look
tour
for chicks.
guide.
I am the tour guide, but Rick Steves sets up all the logistics.
Yeah,
He's
Gotcha.
great at
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, what Rick Steves' new business is, Mr. Goody Two Shoes, is weed. He is really pushing.
Yeah, he's pushed for a long time for the
Yep.
legalization.
And it does not seem like
It doesn't.
straight-laced
I had not heard it, so
Steve-
it's like full blown news to me. So then maybe you won't mind that everybody on the Bonaduce boat tour is drunk all the time.
Oh, you could also do it in Amsterdam, and you'd have the best of both worlds. You'd be drunk all the time, and he'd be.
I can't be drunk all the time. Although if we're going to be magic, I am now drunk all the time.
Well, you guys listening, who would you love to go into business with, and what would the business be? Call us now at 800.
So Bill Murray is opening up a food truck business, and he's got partners, and somehow that gets Sarah to working with Dave Grohl. I'm not really sure how. Who would you love to go into business with, and what business would that be? The phone number is 1-800-252-1025. You can text to 90627.
Now, remember, George Clooney had a business with one of his besties, and it was tequila.
There was 2 of his besties, and they sold it for $1 billion.
Exactly.
$1 billion.
So I want to go into any business with George Clooney.
Well, with a certain kind of celebrity, I would go into business, depending on who they are. Snoop Dogg, give me some weed right there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
actually the name of the company. Snoop Dogg, give me some weed.
It's smart to hop into people who already have that success. People on the text line at 90627 also saying Snoop and weed, Sammy Hagar and the booze business. Why not do what they already know how to do?
Let's talk with Joe in Yelm. Who would you love to go into business with, and what would the business be?
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to all the Home Depots and Lowe's and the back rooms listening to your show.
All
Hi,
right,
guys.
cool. What up?
Most all of the receiving departments have a radio and have KZOK on.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrific. Now, unless you're going to open up a Home Depot, you got to tell me who would it be and what's the business?
Okay, a restaurant with Martha Stewart and call it Gourmet Prison Food and have bars over all the windows and pass-through and stuff.
I love it.
Genius.
Jeez, Joe, I love it's great.
Yeah,
It's
how-
absolutely great.
How's she not already doing that?
And by the way, you could test the market in Japan because they do the
love
craziest
themed.
themed restaurants ever with like bars on the windows and things like that. But I really think that is good, Joe.
That is very smart. When he first said Martha Stewart, I was like, yeah, she's kind of mean. No, that's a great business.
Is she mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
800-252-1025. Who would you love to go into business with, and what would the business be? Talking about this because Bill Murray is opening not just a food truck, but a food truck park.
You'd be surprised at my next pick, I think, because it's a housewife of New York City.
Okay.
And I don't even know very much about her being a housewife, except where I've seen her in other things. Her name is Bethany Frankel. Do you know who that is?
I do, just because I know her businesses.
She's the owner and inventor of all those things you see at the liquor store when you go to Bevmo and you see skinny girl cocktails.
Yeah.
That's her.
I think
wow.
she sold
That's
it.
huge.
She did.
I think she sold it for billions of dollars.
She sold it to making her go from an invited guest on these housewives shows, where some of them fake having as much money as they pretend to. She was kind of one of them, but she was so clever they accepted her, and then boom, hundreds of millions of dollars. And by the way,
Crazy.
she got to keep a ton of the rights to it.
good
Wow.
No, it was a good move all the way around.
How about if we open up a deli with Lady Gaga?
Why?
Well, she's known for her meat dress.
Ah, the meat dress.
the
Yeah.
meat-
I don't know that would be all that popular. You're going to eat the meat that was on the dress?
Well, no, but she could just model all the different, like, she could be dressed in prosciutto and she'd walk through the restaurant and you'd come over and
She
take
could
some
be dressed in prosciutto. I mean, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd be willing to do that, right? For her
I just don't.
15% stake
I'm with
in the
Paul.
business.
Right.
I don't find it all that appetizing. Meat that I believe has been rolled all over Lady Gaga's body. But who am I?
Let's talk to Dave in Federal Way.
Hey, what's up?
Half a day from Guam, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I'd go into business with Kelly Slater and open up surf ranches all over the world, and I'd put one right there, smack down in Seattle, right next to the station, and we'd all surf perfect waves every day, regardless of the conditions, the weather conditions.
Now is
I
that
like that.
is that a rule? Hey, you baby, get in the water. I know it's 8 degrees, but you get in the water and you surf.
Yeah, we can go over to Shilshol where they do have a lot of surf shops, and Kelly Slater's the man in the surf world.
Yeah,
So.
no, I even know him, and I have no desire to surf.
Not even with Hop a Day from Guam, guys?
Oh, if I was going to do it with anybody, I'd do it with Hop a Day.
Yeah,
and then I'd surf.
Guys.
Who would you love to go into business with, and what would the business be? That's the question we're asking you this morning. Let's hear from Jake in Monroe.
I like to go into business with Gorgeous Tory.
And what would the business be?
The Gorgeous Tory's turntable records.
Gorgeous Tory's turntables. I think that is a fine idea.
Tori, are you in?
I'm so in. Let's do it.
All right, Jake and Tori having Tori's turntable records.
But it's not a
Whatever it's
terrible idea. She
It's
has a
not.
segment on the radio. Was it Thursdays?
Thursdays.
Tori's turntable. Yeah, that's quite
she has
the
two
platform.
different segments. She has Tori's Turntable, where she reviews albums. That's on our website, KZOK.com. Then every Thursday, she tells us all the new music in stores on Fridays. She's popular, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake's going to be doing good. Creepy Brian wants to go into business with Tori as well. He texted in to 90627. He wants to start a pet cryogenics business with Tori.
So when we find the cure
Yeah.
for what killed the hamster, we can bring it back.
I think
Yep.
he just Creepy Brian also enjoys putting pets in frozen conditions.
Hence
yep,
the name
yep.
Creepy Brian and not just
Yeah.
Brian.
John in Bellevue, who are you going to go into business with?
I'd like to go into business with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Do a brewery, maybe name it Brew 316.
Bruno 316.
What does that mean?
What was that?
What does that mean? Bruno 316?
Oh, a micro brewery for beer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and name it Brew 316.
Ah,
Brew
Brew
316.
316.
What if you
Yeah.
opened up a Cold Stone Creamery?
I
with
swear to
Stone
God, I was going to say that.
Cold
Nice.
Stone Creamery.
Yeah.
Oh, you could open a restaurant with The Rock, and then everybody would always ask if you could smell what he was cooking.
Yeah.
He's the
That's a
head
great
chef.
idea.
Was that your idea, Paul, or is that from a texter?
No, I'm thinking once he's done shooting Top Gun 2, which he's busy at right now, that Tom Cruise would want to go into business with me. I'd open up a bar, and he could do all the moves from Cocktail. He would be the
Oh.
bartender.
That's a great
That
idea.
is a great idea. Although, I would go into business with Tom Cruise on a cruise company.
Oh, that's
Maybe
smart too.
You go on the Tom Cruise. The Tom Cruise is always on your poop deck, whatever the slogan would be. But Tom Cruise on the cruise line.
Do we want to open up a daycare with Angelina Jolie? She's got some experience.
Yeah. If she's willing to watch my kids.
Yeah. Tori, who do you want to go into business with? We got a bunch of people who want to open record stores with you.
You know, I want to get into a business with Bindi Irwin, and we'd go capture exotic animals and sell them to famous people for a lot of money.
And then you'd kill them.
Yeah, sure.
By
Hang
the
them on your
way,
wall.
this seems like a great deal of hassle.
To go get an exotic pet.
Yeah, see, when I go into business with somebody, I want all the heavy lifting done for me, and I just want to show up and be pretty.
Yeah.
Now I got to go to Africa and grab some weird jumbo snake that ate
she
an
loves
antelope or
that.
something. I don't see.
I have one more. That's a little more easy.
Yeah.
Okay, except Bowie's dead, but if he was alive, I'd like to do a makeup line with him.
Oh, it's genius.
Call it Changes.
Although it doesn't
a
sound
great
easier.
idea.
You have to bring a guy back to life.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, but there's Creepy Brian's Cryogenics company.
yeah,
right.
So.
freeze him next to the hamster.
And Derek, who would you like to go into business with?
For a while, Russell Wilson partnered with somebody to make these dinner rolls shaped like footballs, but I want to mix it up a little bit and do waffles, and they can be Wilson's waffle balls.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Okay, I no offense, dude, but I think I like the football thing better.
No, they're shaped like footballs, but they're
okay.
waffles.
Oh, okay,
The
yeah,
waffle
okay.
balls.
I'm back
Wilson's
in.
waffles.
I'm officially back in.
No, Wilson's waffle balls.
Right, I got
Don't
it.
forget
I
that
got it.
part.
No.
They don't want your balls to waffle.
Oh, I
forget the
got
balls.
it. I got it.
confused.
I want to go into the waffle business. This is Pete. He waffles. Oh, I get it. Let's give you money.
Thanks for all your calls and texts. It is now time to play What the Foo?
What the foo?
You can win tickets to see the Foo Fighters September 1st at Safeco Field. If you want to play and win those tickets, call us right now, 800-252-1025. It's on 102.5 KZOK. We are giving you a chance to see them at Safeco Field September 1st by playing the game What the Foo. The way this works, you will need to correctly identify the phrase, term, or expression that contains the word foo. Let's get our contestant ready to play. It is Seth in Bellevue.
Hey, Seth, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yes, I do.
And do you understand the rules of the game?
Yes, I do.
All right, here we go. This foo is the term for a full, straight mustache that originates on the corners of the mouth and grows downward past the clean-shaven lips and chin in two tapered tendrils. Tendrils, I say, often extending past the jawline. It's a popular category in the competition of the World Beard and Mustache Championships. Can you tell us what the foo?
Absolutely. That'd be a Fu Manchu.
That would be a
Nice
Fu
job,
Manchu, my
Seth.
friend.
Congratulations. Seth is going to the Jeep winners window in our lobby to pick up tickets to see Foo Fighters with the Joy Formidable September 1st at Safeco Field. The rest of you can join us again tomorrow at 7:20 for another chance to win these tickets. And up next is the big news of the day.
It is the big news of the day, and it's brought to you by our friends at Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE, or you can go online to goldbergjones.com.
The Army, the Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Space Force. Well, President Trump, speaking at the National Space Council meeting yesterday, said he would like a new branch of the military. He said, we are going to have the Air Force, and we're going to have the Space Force, separate but equal.
Is that what he said, really?
That's a quote.
Separate but equal?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It is going to be something so important.
To fight the Martians?
No, to fight the Russians and the Chinese for sure. And by the way, not a new idea.
Right.
Not a new idea at all. One of the space race really started because we didn't want the Russians to get a moon, missile or laser or whatever it was. We didn't want them to get a station. They most certainly didn't want us to get a leg up. I don't know how you do this and stop the other guys. Like, how do you
This
stop
is
China
not
and
going
Russia?
to the moon to put up
No, it's just in
lasers.
space though. How do you stop the other guys from doing exactly what you did? You can't shoot first.
He said, our destiny beyond Earth is not only a matter of national identity, but a matter of national security, so important for our military, and people don't talk about it. When it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space.
All right. By
Now,
the way, did anybody ever hear this before? Are you aware of this, Paul?
Sure, they started with Reagan.
Reagan,
But not
exactly
he didn't
right.
call it the Space Force.
No, but no, it called it Star Wars.
Yeah.
Just even weirder to name it after a movie.
Right.
But so, yeah, this is not even new, and I just don't know how you pull it off. But if you could, I wouldn't mind it terribly.
well, experts have pointed out that Donald Trump cannot create a new branch of the military without congressional approval.
Oh, he doesn't care about the
Yeah.
rules. Rules, schmools.
I think that was an actual quote.
Yeah.
Rule schmools.
That and separate but equal.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. I mean, I can from him, but you shouldn't.
Does it really say he actually said out loud? That's
Yeah, that's a quote.
crazy.
The mysterious werewolf-like creature that baffled Montana wildlife officials and captured the curiosity of the country when it was killed last month has been solved. Now, this was a crazy-looking beast.
Right.
Some people thought it was a dire wolf, despite the fact they went extinct years ago. Some people thought it could be a werewolf.
It was something weird. I'll give it that.
The beast had an oversized head, huge paws, oddly shaped ears. It was shot by a rancher because it had been lurking around the chicken coop. Well, they did DNA samples from wolves, coyotes, dogs, and tried to figure out what it was. And they said it was an 85-pound gray wolf who was deformed.
Oh, poor little gray wolf.
It was a lady gray wolf, and she's just deformed.
I swear to God, Lady Grey Wolf is a character in a movie.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
It does. Lady Grey Wolf. I forget which one it was. Matthew Broderick was in it.
Oh, funny. And they said, so sorry, but it was not a dire wolf. It was not a werewolf. It was just a sad little deformed
But
little one.
it was deformed in those areas that you said, because the thing that made me think this is something new, different, and weird were its teeth.
The teeth were weird. The entire head was massive. The feet were massive. It was just a nature mistake.
There are no nature mistakes, except Cleveland.
A very sad story that has people talking is about a British man who believed he was wearing a stab-proof vest, decided to try it out, and stabbed himself several times. That's when he realized it was not a stab-proof vest.
Oh.
Now,
You don't try and stab the vest without it being on a person first, right? That's what I would do.
yeah.
Lay the vest down
Like,
on something and
Put it
jab at it.
you'd wrap a watermelon or something like that around
Sure,
it,
yeah.
even a hard pillow.
You could do that.
So what happened to the
Well,
guy?
haven't we heard too many times about, oh, it's a bulletproof vest. Just go ahead and shoot me.
Right.
Like the person shooting you is an expert marksman and doesn't
Right,
ever miss
yeah.
the spot.
Remember, we did this in Chicago. I shot a guy.
Well, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I did. That's what he says.
This kid died.
Well, that's not as fun then, is it?
That's why I started by saying this is a terrible story.
Yeah. I was shocked when I first heard the story that he, trying to stab yourself to death is another level of commitment, but he didn't know he was going to do it.
Yeah.
He really thought this was a stab-proof vest. And did they say why he was wearing it?
They said this was death by misadventure. His family cannot understand why he would do this.
YouTube video, right? I think this guy's a YouTuber and he was trying to do a video.
that right?
Yeah, showing,
That would
hey,
make
it's a
sense.
stab-proof vest and I can do it as hard as I want and it's not going to stab me. It's not going to hurt me.
Crazy.
Will it end up on YouTube anyway?
I don't think so, no.
Good. I mean, this is a young guy, right?
22.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunate.
A New Zealand man dipped his toes into the world of crime, swiping 2 human digits from an exhibit. This is the bodies exhibit, the body exhibit. Have you ever seen this?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's been traveling around the world for many, many years, since 1982.
Is it like the Mutter Museum
No.
in Philadelphia?
No, this is human bodies, and all of the skin is peeled back.
Oh,
and
yeah. I've seen it a bunch of times.
You can see, say, the lungs of somebody who had cancer. You can see pregnant woman who did not survive. These are all donated bodies. They are real human bodies that are put out for display for people to understand how the human body works. Well, the one man, in this case, he really wanted those toes. So he stole them.
They had to be under glass or something, right? I haven't
They're
seen
not.
it. Really? They're just laying there?
Some of
A
the
pile
Were they
of toes?
Were they attached to a body?
yes. Some of them
And they just break free, really? Now, when you say he tipped his toes, I thought some guy did something with his toes, like pickpocketing or something like that.
No.
Yeah.
But this was he used his hands to steal toes.
Yes, the expression.
And
dipping
not
his
steal toes, like the boots.
No. Steel
He's-
toes like take toes
yeah,
off a
totally
dead
different.
body.
Yeah.
He is facing 2 to 7 years in prison for theft. You can't steal someone else's toes.
Well, who's going to complain, really?
The museum.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, like I said, it's a traveling exhibit, and they do very, very well, and now they're down 2 toes. Are you going to donate those 2 toes?
I am not going to donate my toes.
No, me either.
Puma is getting back into the NBA sneaker game, and they are doing so with a big name, and that would be Jay-Z.
Yeah.
He will be Puma's president of basketball operations.
She said Puma.
Puma hasn't had anybody on the basketball court since 1998.
Is Jay-Z going to play?
Nope. He is going to be the president.
Oh.
Aren't you listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Absolutely not.
President, trying to get basketball players wearing Pumas again. And because Jay-Z is well liked and represents several athletes with his company,
Yeah.
who better to do
Oh,
it?
that's right.
Who better
Yeah,
to get
I have
back
a
on
couple
the
of
court?
Puma gear. I have Puma tennis shoes, and I have a Puma hoodie. Very proud of my Puma hoodie, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. It's very cool.
I have some Puma sneakers, but you haven't seen them on the basketball court in 20 years. Nike, Adidas,
Yeah.
that's about it. That's
Is
big-
Reebok done? Do you ever see Reebok on the basketball court anymore? I liked them
think
when
so.
you could pump up the tongue. Those were
Was that
awesome.
Reebok?
Yeah,
I thought that was
Reebok.
Nike.
I thought that was Reebok with the little basketball. You pump it up.
You pump it up. I think I'm going to go with. I'll take Nike for $3.
I'm pretty sure Reebok started it.
All right then.
I remember Reebok started, what do you call them? Instead of laces, you had Velcro.
Was that Reebok?
Reebok
started
did
that?
not invent Velcro.
They
They
invented
did.
Velcro sneakers.
Paul.
Paul.
By the way,
All
they
right.
make I've seen a couple of different people totally make fun of it. How are you too lazy to tie your shoes? I love Velcro shoes, but not as much as I like slip-ons. But I am done bending over in the morning going, here's what I sound like in the morning every single day. That's all. Why do I want to start my day like that?
Yeah.
Big news of the day. It is brought to you by our friends at Goldberg Jones. You can find Goldberg Jones at 1-800-DIVORCE or online, goldbergjones.com.
Yes, indeed. There is more coming right up at Sarah's Filthy Forecast.
It's Sarah with your filthy forecast. Do you want a full frontal look at the weather? Topless Tuesday. Oh, yes, the top will be down on your convertible. It'll be 84 today. Just a thin wisp of cloud cover. Just enough so the pokies still poke through. Some nice penetrating rays of the sun still come hard on your soft, supple skin.
Who's Ray?
Top off. Enjoy today and tomorrow. In fact, it might just be a threesome. At least that's what my neighbor Vanessa told me yesterday. She means the weather, right? With the best weather front in Seattle, I'm Sarah.
It is a lovely weather front, young lady. Let me tell you about the iHeartRadio app. It's pretty cool. It's all your favorite music in one place, free of charge. Thank you very much. Listen right now on your smart speakers. I did that yesterday for the first time. It is totally awesome.
Nice.
All you have to do at my house, go, okay, Google, play KZOK on iHeartRadio, and the magic will happen. Or you can say, Alexa, play KZOK on iHeartRadio, and she will do it. Hey, here's a kind of a cool thing. It's the Danny TV. So if you ever wonder what's really going on inside the studio while we're doing this here radio show, well, now you can watch every single minute of it on Danny TV. You just catch the live streaming video feed on the KZOK Facebook page or watch the daily replay of the entire show commercial free on KZOK YouTube page. Dig that.
So we had a story making news about a mother who was welcomed home at the airport by her young son. He was reading a sign, so excited that mom was back. She gets off the airplane and sees her kid holding up a sign that says, "Welcome home from prison, Mom."
Now, the whole world, because it went crazy, everybody
Yeah.
loved this. Did we ever find out if she was actually in prison?
Well, we knew right away she was not in prison. She was on a business trip.
Oh.
Typically, when you
changes.
get out of prison, you don't get on an airplane and cross state lines. You get met at the door, and they give you a bus ticket or somebody
Are
drives
you
home.
watching movies from the 1950s again?
They put you on a bus. You get $3.75
No,
and
man.
a ham sandwich.
No, she was
So
on a
she
business
was-
trip.
That's a weird thing for that kid to do. Now, is it wrong to say in today's environment that I would beat that child? Because I
much.
wouldn't. I certainly
Yes.
would not. I wouldn't even say it. I don't know what that happened there.
But that's something that is sort of a rite of passage for parents. Your kid does something that embarrasses you.
Oh, but that's all my kids do. No, but I figured they got to go, well, we're even, because all I used to do was embarrass them.
Yeah.
Aw.
You know, show up at one PTA meeting drunk and yelling, and everybody's going to talk about you.
But kids, a lot of times the embarrassment is something cute, but doesn't take away the embarrassment factor. I obviously don't have kids, but my sister-in-law, she went shopping with her 2 young daughters, and one of them was, I think, 3 or 4 years old at the time. They were looking for bathroom fixtures. They
Right.
went to a store that sold all sinks and toilets and vanities. And while they were looking, my little niece Chloe uses one of the toilets.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember you telling us about
It
that.
was not a functioning toilet. It was just right there in the middle of the showroom.
Just a display model.
Yes. So, of course, my sister-in-law, mortified.
Oh no, you got to tell her. Oh, good job. You got to
She did.
support that, right?
Did she really?
Well,
Yeah.
you have to, because
If
they're...
you're in the middle of potty training, you got to
Was she
reward
potty-
that.
And she was, wow, yeah, I guess you do.
Yeah, and she had my brother distract the salespeople while she cleaned up the mess, and they fled.
Oh wow, I would have fled.
I'd have
Except
fled.
I would have done it right before cleaning up the mess.
I would
Just
not have
fled.
cleaned up anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So you going to sell my kid a toilet or not? That's all I'd have said.
I mean, what have your kids done that embarrassed you, Danny?
I remember, I don't know that Dante had ever visited the station before this particular day, but does anybody remember where we got loser, cat abuser?
Was that from Dante?
That was Dante came in, never been to my radio show before in all my days. I'm proud of the radio show. I like it. I think it's neat. I pay his mom a lot of money by doing it. And he came in and he sat down, and I forget what, I think it was Sarah asked him something, and he said, well, yeah, my dad just punched the cat in the face. So I tried to deflect, because I don't even know what he's talking about. Obviously, I don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And I certainly don't want to go, oh, well, that's not true. I would never, because that only sounds worse.
Yeah.
And I said something about it later, and from the next day on, we started saying, because somebody that heard it
emailed.
sent
Yeah.
an email saying loser, cat abuser. So I'd like to thank my son for that.
Well, you guys listening, when did your kid do something that embarrassed you? What was it? Tell us your story by calling 800-252-1025 or text in 90627 now.
Okay, so there's this mom, and she's been working on a chain gang. Or maybe not, but I think it helps the story a little bit. She was somewhere on a business trip or something, and when she came back at the airport, her kid had a sign that read, "Welcome home from prison, Mom," and she was mortified. When did your kid do something that really embarrassed you? The phone number is 1-800-252-100627.
Start with Kevin in Port Orchard.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Danny, how are you this morning?
Very well. Thanks for asking. What do you got?
Well, I went to go see Chuck Mangione, my all-time favorite horn player, in Demetrius Jazz Alley, and took my 2-year-old daughter, my 6-year-old son, and every break in the show, my daughter would stick her head through the bars in the mezzanine and yell, "We want more Chuck."
Well, you know what I like about that is because I think that's how jazz lovers are made. Because I don't care for jazz. It actually gives me a headache. But I wish I did. It just seems so cool to go to a jazz club. There's less people in it most of the time. And I like it. But I don't know. Need my kid going more Chuck.
Yeah, that's funny. Yo, in Olympia.
Hey, yo.
What up, Debo?
What's happening?
Well, when my son was like about 3 years old, my husband would do yard work sometimes and have a beer. And he wasn't watching his beer one day, so my 3-year-old son took a drink of his beer, and my husband turned around to see him, and just as he was saying, "I like it."
Ooh, that's
So then,
trouble.
For a couple months after that, when my husband, would take him to the store and be out with our son, he would just randomly pipe up and tell people, "I like beer."
Yeah. Here's what you want to do, yo. Is I think you want to hang on to that story just that way. So when you're attending his AA meetings, you can tell, oh, you guys don't understand. He's been drinking since he was 3.
Yo, your kid is grown and on the straight and narrow, right?
Well, he's 15 now, and as far as I know, he really doesn't like the taste of beer.
I think you're wrong about that, yeah.
You know what? if your kid's gonna sneak a beer and think he's all cool, one thing. If your kid's really drinking, mom knows.
Yeah.
Mom knows for sure. Mom knows how he smells. Mom knows if there's the smell of nicotine on his clothes. All sorts of drama. Mom kind of knows.
But what kid actually likes beer at 15? I
Not
would say
this
none.
kid.
You like what it does to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brent, calling from historic Kent. When did your kid do something that embarrassed you?
Yeah, so good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well.
We are,
my
thanks.
Son, yeah, excellent. So my son was 5, and they had this little preschool graduation, and we were living down in the Bay Area, and a bunch of techies and, highly educated people. And so all these kids come up one by one, and they get interviewed, and they have to say what they want to be when they grow up. So kids are literally saying, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a software engineer, I want to cure cancer. My kid comes waddling up, and he says, I want to be a witch.
Yeah. It's nice to have goals. Yeah.
Yeah, brought the house down. We were very proud.
A Wiccan in preschool.
Yep, that is very cute. Aaron in Gig Harbor, did your kid embarrass you?
Yeah, so earlier in this day, I reported a car fire on the freeway.
Yeah.
Calling 911. Well, my daughter got a hold of my phone after I got home and accessed my call history and called 911 again.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the payoff. What happened?
Well, she was talking to the 911 operator for about 10 minutes before I finally realized it.
Oh.
And everything went okay?
They didn't issue me a ticket, but they said, please keep an eye on your kid a little bit more carefully.
Oh, I'd be mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be mad. You know what it's like to try and raise a kid and keep your eye. You just can't keep your eye. You need 9 eyes.
You really
to keep
do.
your eye. But my kid, Isabella, called 911 when she was a toddler or whatever. And the police came to my house, said, somebody called 911. I said, oh, sorry, my kid did it. And they said, could you bring your wife and child and anyone else in the house out? And I got mad. I said, no, I can't. It was an accident. And they said they kind of put their hands on their guns and re-asked the question.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go get them. You have to show that everybody's okay in there.
Let's talk with Suzanne in Sammamish.
Hey, Suzanne.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So years ago when my daughter was in elementary school, they had that red ribbon the drug week that they have, say no to drug week. And they had a poster in her classroom, and it had pictures of, like, pills and syringes and things like that. And the idiot who made the poster put a glass of wine on the poster.
Oh,
so she told her whole class. So she told her whole class that her mom was on drugs.
Oh,
wow! My kids said the same thing, but they were right.
Aww.
What a drag, That's why. But you're right. Shame on the person who put a glass of red in there.
Let's hear from Brandon in Bellevue.
Hey, Brandon.
Morning, you people.
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, I was at a company barbecue, and they had a bounce house for all the kids, and someone turned around to me and said, Brandon, I think that's your kid taking a leak outside the bounce house. And so he bounced his way out, pulled his pants down to his ankles, and was taking a whiz right there where all the kids are running in and out.
Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to back the kid because, I go outside all, if
Sure,
that's
why
where
not?
I am. Like the other day at Green Lake, I had to find a big tree, but I found one. So I want to root for your kid on this, but he can't do that.
At least he didn't go in the bouncy house.
Right.
You'd be proud of that kid.
I'm already proud of that kid.
When did your kid do something that embarrassed you is the question. We'll hear from Rosemary in Bremerton.
Hey, Rosemary.
Hello. When my son was in Boy Scouts, he's like 13, 14 years old. They went to Canada and they exchanged badges and sashes for souvenirs. My son came home proud as hell with Canadian Playboys.
Yeah, man.
They do it a little different up there.
And I think the girls are 60% less naked in Canada.
Yeah,
Not sure.
yeah.
Farmer Ted in Seattle, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Oh, good. Thank you. What do you got?
So my wife used to be a dancer up at the Michael Jordan Dance Academy up in Everett, and every year we used to go to the spring show and took our 3-year-old son, and just as the music died down, he stood up and told me he farted as loud as he possibly could.
Yeah, that would be fairly embarrassing.
We've got a great text into 90627. They say, I had my boss over for dinner. He was bald, and my 7-year-old son told him, Daddy calls you Baldylocks and the 3 hairs. Apparently they had a nickname for the boss.
Baldylocks and the 3 hairs.
Oh, I wonder if he got fired the next day. That's embarrassing. Lenny in Tacoma, good morning.
Hey, Lenny.
Hey, good morning, gang. When my daughter was about 3 years old and I was divorced and I was dating, I would call a really good-looking girl cream of the crop. And finally, we just got around to where we abbreviated to creamer. And I had her on my shoulders, and we were walking around Green Lake one day, and this football-sized guy with his good-looking girlfriend's walking towards us. And right when he got eyeball to eyeball to my daughter leans over to me and says, "Hey, Dad, there's a
I think
creamer."
we get it. I think we get it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you want to say that about a baby riding on your neck, but I get the point there, Lenny.
And that is an embarrassing action from
At the
kid.
very least, not to mention sticky.
Christina in Puyallup, did your kid do something that embarrassed you?
Yes. She was just a baby. We are at a Denny's, and she was in a high chair, and we had just gotten our drinks, and all of a sudden I smell something funny. And I look over, and there's a volcano coming out of her diaper.
At the Denny's.
At the
She said
Denny's.
it delicately, and it was still
It's still a
excruciating.
volcano. Now I can visualize it.
Daniel in Marysville, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
What'd your kid do?
Well, my wife was shopping with my daughter in Target. She's probably 5 years old at the time, and I used to watch wrestling back when it was WWF.
Yeah.
And I forget who the wrestler was, but my wife asked my daughter to, "Hey, come over here," and my daughter turned around and did the bent knees and the whole thing and crossed her area and said, "Suck it."
That was, I know who that was, too.
Triple H to Generation X.
Yes. Nicely. You know the rappers and the wrestlers. If it starts with a R, you're in.
Paul, what did Jelly Bean do to embarrass you?
A lot of stuff, actually. But the one thing in particular, she was 3 or 4 years old, so like she's building her vocabulary, and we're trying to encourage that. And she's starting, to put longer sentences together. We were at this ceremony. My dad was being honored. He's part of the Knights of Columbus, part of a service organization through his church. And it's this fancy ceremony. They all have, big hats with feathers and swords and stuff. So everybody's really quiet, and there's, a lot of things going on. And my kid's in the back of the room just narrating the whole thing. Now the old people are standing up, Daddy. Now the old people are sitting down. What are they? Oh, that old man has a sword, Daddy.
Nice.
Oh, it was great.
Very nice.
Let's hear from Bev in Puyallup.
Hey, Bev.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Very nice. Thanks for asking. What do you got?
Good. Well, when my son was in kindergarten, he had to write a thing, "What does your mom like to do for fun?" And he tried to draw a slot machine and said, "My mommy likes to go gambling." And so the teacher sent a note back on the report, on the little paper, and said, "Wink, wink, I like to go, quote, gambling too, Beverly." I was so embarrassed.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Although good sport, the teacher's a good sport.
Yeah. Bev and everybody else who called in and texted, thank you so much. We will be right back with your news. News is brought to you by Car Pros Renting Kia. A 45-year-old woman was shot and killed inside her home near Snohomish last night, according to the sheriff's office. Investigators said a man called 911 about 9 p.m. reported that someone had been hurt in a home located on 59th Drive Southeast. When deputies and medics arrived, they found the woman with a gunshot wound. She did not survive. The 49-year-old man, believed to be her husband, was taken into custody.
Okay. I mean, not okay, certainly, but I wondered about that because what do we know about these kind of things? It's almost always the husband or it's almost always the wife.
Yeah.
If anybody I used to be married to shows up and dead, well, don't look at me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Seattle fire crews rushed to the scene of a fire on a rooftop around midnight in South Lake Union. They said this appeared to be a deck fire on a 13-story building on Fairview Avenue North. Thankfully, nobody was injured, and they were able to extinguish the fire very quickly.
Who makes 13-story buildings?
Well, how many do you want them to be?
Not 13.
Oh, right. It's unlucky.
It's not. I mean, I'm not the guy that invented not putting a 13th floor in an elevator when obviously the one after 12 and before 14.
Right.
Oh, no, there is the 13th floor. So when I heard 13 this morning, I thought, because I think it's stupid that we do this.
I do,
too. These
too.
old superstitions, but we do.
Well, same thing with the airplane seats. In some countries, they don't do a 13th row. Well, you're still sitting numerically in the 13th row.
Absolutely.
Clearly, it was bad luck for this 13-story building.
The King County Sheriff's Office announced they will equip their deputies with a life-saving tool Naloxone. By the end of July, all deputies will carry naloxone, which is the medication that can be used to reverse an opioid overdose. According to the King County Major Brian Howard, he said it can go from someone who is not breathing at all, and in a couple of minutes, they are breathing completely fine on their own.
How do they inhale it?
It's an injection.
It is? Oh, I didn't know that.
You can do. I think they have it either way.
Yeah, I've seen like a nasal spray.
Nasal spray.
Yeah, they
shoot
and
it
they
up
just
their
shoot it in.
nose.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I guess the usual people that are overdosed, it's not that hard to find a vein if you need one.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would have thought. Try and find a vein. Not an easy task.
Fresh off its merger with Virgin America, Alaska Airlines says they have a new strategy when it comes to weather issues in San Francisco. So a lot of people would fly from SeaTac to San Francisco or wherever in the country to SFO. And as we well know, San Francisco has some fog.
Yeah.
They said there are a lot of issues, and most of the time you can't do anything about it. It comes in really quickly. Flights get delayed. And what they are trying to do now, or going to be doing now, is offer people a chance to go to San Jose or Oakland, and then you can get a free shuttle bus to SFO if that's where you need to go.
I always thought the modern planes could land themselves. That's what you always hear.
That they don't need to be able to see? I'm sure the pilot wants to be able to see.
But I've seen a bazillion times that they don't need a line of sight anymore to land. But obviously, I am in a fool's paradise because they're saying they do.
Yeah.
I got a ticket to Oakland. Let's go to Oakland.
And I don't know that you would have the choice because the whole plane has to go there, right? They're not just going to drop some people off in San
Right.
Jose.
It's the
your
guy in
choice-
seat 1A gets to decide for everyone.
Your choice is waiting
Yeah.
for another plane or to go to a different airport. So they are giving you the
I guess
option.
if your flight hasn't left yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So either you get on the plane and they say, okay, we're going to go to Oakland, or you can wait for 4 hours and hopefully the fog will clear up.
You're going to think I'm kidding, but I have a way better solution. Parachutes.
Yeah.
Then you can go anywhere you want. You can even land at a guy's house. Say, well, we're going to land in San Francisco, but now you can go to Danny's house.
It's kind of like the Greyhound bus. They'll be dropping people along the way.
That's exactly the way it would work.
The stock market opened on a sour note this morning amid investor fears that a full-blown trade war between the U.S. and China is in the making. The Dow fell more than 300 points, 1.2% in the first few minutes of trading. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ were also down similar percentages. Stocks around the world generally all in the same boat. China's falling to their lowest level in 2 years. Tension between Washington and Beijing are on a high, with Donald Trump calling for a 10% tariff on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports.
Was that $200 million? Is the 10%?
The new one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like we got to put tariffs on Wall Street. We can't let them do this, right?
What?
We got to punish them. Wall Street, they're going crazy.
I don't think that's how the stock market works,
No?
but I could be wrong. I'm not good at it.
Two sisters are in jail pending criminal charges after allegedly stabbing each other during a fight in front of 5 small children. The police department says officers were dispatched to the residence after somebody called and said there's a stabbing. When police arrived, they found 2 sisters, aged 24 and 23, both with stab wounds. Police said they had engaged in mutual combat.
Now, so are they off the hook until you get to the kids? Like, can't the cops just go, well, yeah, can we call this a draw? And the 2 sisters say, yeah.
No, it's assault on both parts, right?
And
They both get charged with assault.
I could see your point, but nobody's going to show up at court to testify. So it's a big waste of everybody's time.
True, they probably wouldn't press charges, but they're going to put them both in jail.
They are both facing charges of recklessly endangering the safety of minors.
Yeah, that's,
See, it's the
that's the
kids.
part where the kids are, yeah.
So they got into a knife fight. They each
They
armed
both
themselves.
brought knives to a knife fight?
Yes.
By the way, if I was single, I'd want to date one or both of these chicks.
Oh, absolutely.
How bad are these girls, huh?
24 and 23 with 5 kids between them and knives.
Do you know what the last words they said before the stabbing started were? Something to this effect. You never returned my sweater. Boom, stab right to the trach.
Millennials have been blamed for the decline of many things.
You know why? Because it's totally their fault.
Absolutely.
Bar soap they're not using. Breakfast cereal sales have been down. Home ownership. They said that the millennials are not doing these things.
They're not using soap?
Not bar soap.
Bar soap.
Smelly millennials.
And now, according to the latest studies, tipping They said nearly 2/3 of millennials tip below the standard, so less than 20% at restaurants. And
yeah, I'm an over tipper and things, but I'm curious about what people consider today's standard, because when they get the thing that says 20% of this, 20% of that, it goes up to almost 30% now. It starts at 20% and goes 25. I don't want to tip 25. I don't want to start that.
the study revealed they are not getting anywhere close to 20% when eating out. They are also not tipping Uber and Lyft. They are not tipping where standard people would tip. You go to a hairdresser. If you have a bellhop, carry your bags. They said millennials are not tipping. They said it's a couple of different things. One, they're tight with money. And two, because it's such a computer-dominated world, they don't know how. That unless that's how they're getting charged, then they see the button that says 20% and the math's already done for them.
They literally don't know how to do 20% of $100.
Well, that one's easy. What about 146?
Then I tip on the 100. No, I tip on 150. But whatever it is, I think it's terrible that people are not tipping.
And they don't have cash on them. So some of those situations would call for cash and they just don't have it.
Very true.
And the Uber guys, they forget to ask.
Yeah.
To tip an Uber guy, as far as I know, maybe there's something I don't know. It comes up, would you like to tip this guy? And then how much, right? That happens 1 out of every 4 trips, maybe.
No, I thought it was right there when you rate your trip.
No, it is right there when you rate the trip. That doesn't always come up for me.
Oh, wow.
There's a new disturbing trend from Science Alert. They say the giant horror plant has made its way to another U.S. state, and anyone who comes into contact with it could feel the pain.
No. Would we know to see it, that it's the giant horror plant?
You'd know it when you felt it, Danny, because the giant hogweed, a.k.a. Heraclea mantazagazanum, is a
what I
plant
call it.
that when it touches you, feels like the world's worst sunburn.
Wow.
Oozing blisters, scarring, and even blindness if it gets into your eyes.
Wow. And what's it look like?
It looks kind of like a beautiful flower. I don't know what the name of the flower is, but maybe think of like a baby's breath. It's got a stem, and then it's got just big, light, airy, powdery white flower. Like off of, it's tiny and delicate.
And it's moving around the country. It's popping up like a weed, if you will.
Yes, it
All
is
right.
a weed.
I wonder if I'm immune to it.
No.
I'm immune to both poison oak and poison ivy. Can rub them right on me and nothing happens.
They said that the poison of a
Why
giant...
would anyone ever do that? How do you find that out?
Because you don't get poison ivy when all your friends rolling around did. Because this was a big thing.
Wow.
That growing up on San Feliciano Street, that I was immune to poison ivy. And when Anthony, who was 200 pounds, and I was maybe 80, would beat me up, I'd go up into the mountain while he was asleep, and I would rub it right in his face, which turns out to be a horrible overreaction.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, he was gross. But teach him, don't punch me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have never had it either, and I've walked through the same place that other people have, and they get covered in poison ivy and poison oak. But the giant hogweed has toxic sap. It is toxic to humans, period. So you would not be immune to this. And they said it can be worsened if you're sweaty.
All right, well, I'm almost always sweaty.
Don't get sweaty around the giant hogweed. Hogweed. If you thought American Meghan Markle had an unprecedented royal wedding, well, there is another one in the making. Queen Elizabeth II's cousin, Lord Ivar Mountbatten, is set to be the first royal in history to enter a same-sex marriage.
Kind of cool.
His ex-wife, the mother of his 3 children, will walk him down the aisle.
Wow.
Okay, I don't know.
No?
No.
She's showing support. I think that's great.
Hey, he left you for another man.
Yeah.
You know, did any of my ex-wives walk me down the aisle when I married the person I was possibly sleeping with?
No.
All right.
They have adult children.
I mean, did they? I don't know.
I don't think so.
They divorced because he clearly was conflicted about his sexuality. They remained very close because of their children, and they actually like each other. He came out publicly about a year ago with a gay man and now announced he will be getting married. Now, it was not legal to be married. Gay marriage wasn't legal forever in the United States. And they said this is pretty monumental for the royals to be doing something of this nature.
Yeah. Did you say he's a prince? The first guy? Guy who was married to the lady?
I don't believe he is a prince. No, I don't know what his exact title is. He's the cousin of the queen.
He's a duke.
Yeah, probably.
He's probably a duke.
Duke Mountbatten, which they all used to be Mountbattens, and then they thought, this sounds awful German to me, and they all switched over.
So I wonder if his new husband will get some sort of title.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good
you'd
question.
think so.
I don't know the answer to
They'll
that.
be Duke and Duke.
I like it a
Quite
bunch.
possibly. So gay marriage, by the way, has been legal only since 2014
In the UK?
in the UK, Wales, Scotland, and England. Pretty crazy.
Well, congratulations on catching up to the rest of the world, or some of the world for that
Yeah,
matter.
seriously. 5 people have been arrested after a police raid of a home in Central Florida. It was actually a retirement home, a community. That's what there are a lot of those in Florida, Arizona.
Yeah.
Older
Yeah.
folk goes somewhere warm.
And they're all fronts for some sort of illegal activity?
Yep. This was
All
the
of them?
front.
Every single one. There are no real retired people, Danny.
Wow.
Did you know
They're
that?
all actors.
This was a front for golf cart theft. It was a golf cart chop shop.
Oh, that's kind of
Say
awesome.
that
Yeah,
3 times
that's funny.
fast.
Yeah.
Golf cart chop shop. They also believe there might have been some drug activity.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, no longer does retiring look so scary. I can steal a golf cart and get high as hell.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
It sounds kind of like high school, right?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
2 people were taken into custody after police say they were having adult relations on the ground right at a busy Oklahoma City intersection.
You can't do that? You can't do that.
Sometimes the mood strikes you when it strikes you, and
Yeah.
you just...
The mood almost
Yeah.
never strikes me that much.
In Oklahoma?
But maybe, I used to be 30.
Yeah.
And in that case, I used to be 25. And in that case, I used to be 18.
Yeah.
And you can never say what's going to happen. What might come over you.
Right.
These are late 40s, folks in their late 40s. And this is not the first time they have been arrested for having adult relations in public.
Really?
The last time it was the parking lot of a liquor store.
Ah.
Just out there on the asphalt.
I get that one, though, more than like
gotta
an
be rough on the
intersection.
asphalt.
It's a cool story in the news.
Started.
My
Out of
goodness.
Paris.
Sorry.
A baby was born on a train in Paris.
Oh, now does he get to ride free forever?
Yep. Well, no. Yes and no.
I thought I was kidding. I hate it when you can't tell if I'm kidding.
Well, they did announce the baby born healthy will get free train rides until 25 years old.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So the train line said everybody's safe and happy and healthy, and they're being good sports, saying free
It sounds
train
like they were
rides.
really good sports. I wonder if he was conceived on the train.
Oh, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I ever done it on a train. Did you say probably?
Yeah, probably.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh.
It just seems.
I thought you knew something.
That was
It
just
seems
as ridiculous
likely.
as you asking if it was conceived on the train.
I don't think that's ridiculous at all. They could have planned it out. Oh, remember little Bobby was conceived
Yeah.
right over there in the water closet or whatever they call it over there in Frenchland. And now it was born
Twilight.
there.
Yeah, that's
Twilight.
most likely what
Yes.
happened. Danny's
Yeah.
right.
I am right.
The
I don't know
typical-
why you even doubt him, Sarah.
It's crazy that you
I
do
don't know why I
that.
listen to you people.
What do you mean, you people?
The typical American household earned $55,000 in 2016.
That is not nothing.
And they said it's gone up a little bit since then. But been taking a look, they meaning the census, the richest towns in America. So if the typical household earns $55,000,
Right.
at number 30 of the 30 richest American towns, Rye, New York, median income is $162,000.
Wow.
The median home value 1.1, and 73% of those people have a bachelor's degree.
My goodness.
So I think the rest of the list would surprise you. At number 1, the richest in America, Los Altos Hills, California.
I don't think I'd have got it on a guess, but now that you said it, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the .com money coming.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that's driving distance from Silicon Valley, I believe.
The median household income is $244,000. That's almost $200,000 more than the average American. And they said the median...
And the average American is who's making 50. That's
55,
that's
yeah.
not terrible.
The median home value, $2 million.
And this is where?
Los Altos Hills,
Same, okay.
California. Yeah. At number 2 for the richest towns in America, Sands Point, New York, 232,000. The homes are over 2 million.
Wow.
Great Falls, Virginia. Rolling Hills, California. Hillsborough, California. Travilla, Maryland. Wolf Trap, Virginia. Darien, Connecticut. Winnetka, Illinois. And a place in Ohio rounding out the top 10.
My goodness gracious. We're not in the top 10 at all?
We are not.
No Medina or something like that. We got to be up there somewhere. Bellevue.
Virginia.
Bellevue,
Seattle? Yeah.
Virginia. No.
We're not Virginia, Sarah. We're Washington.
Sorry, we are not among America's richest towns.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Feels like we need to be with housing prices
Totally
as they are.
One last quick hit in news. McDonald's Canada. I think we need to make a pilgrimage.
All right.
They are putting out a new menu called the World Taste Tour, which will have burgers from around the world. The first one, Chinese Szechuan burger. It is 100% Canadian beef, topped with crispy wontons, tomato, lettuce, grilled onions, mayo on a toasted black and white sesame seed bun.
No, okay.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Sounds pretty
The
awesome.
black and white bun kind of throws me.
Black
Not because
and
I think
white
it's going to
sesame
taste bad. I just can't visualize it.
They're going to have
Is it like a checkerboard? Is it stripes?
It's a white bun with black and white sesame seeds on top.
Oh, neat. I like it.
Yep. They're going to have Italian, Aussie burgers. They're going to have a French creme brulee.
No, is it a drive to Canada or is it a plane to?
I think we should be able to just cross the border. Are you allowed to cross the border?
Yes, I most certainly am.
Paul,
yeah.
are you allowed to cross the border?
I am, yeah, I'm
All right.
now. If it's McDonald's, it should be across all of Canada, right? Like they generally have the same, like you can get the same
Yes.
McDonald's anywhere in the U.S., you can get the same McDonald's anywhere in Canada.
Right.
So
I
if
was
we just go
thinking,
right up to British Columbia, we're good.
Yeah, just go over to BC. Do they have one in
I
Victoria?
think you're giving out erroneous information.
Let's take the
What?
Victoria
I think
Clipper.
they're testing it.
No, this is a new menu.
In all of McDonald's. Okay. I happen to.
Participating locations, so we know some McDonald's are independently owned. They
Well,
don't
then
have to.
I don't want to drive to Canada if I don't know.
Well, we'll
You
figure
are
it out.
being a
Canada's
poop.
nice this time of year.
Yeah, it is nice this time of year, and I drive up there anyway. So
I just said let's take the Victoria Clipper.
All right, that sounds
all
fine.
right. I'd rather drive.
You'd rather drive. We'll meet you there.
Aren't I faster in a car?
I guess it depends on where you're going. If you're
Not to
going
Victoria.
if you go to Victoria, you're pretty slow in a
All
car.
right.
News is brought to you by Car Pros Renting Kia. Clearly, we need to take a break, but music, news, entertainment, and sports are next. Starting with some music news. Turns out, as part of her divorce settlement, Frances Bean Cobain did receive the Los Angeles house that she had been living in with her now ex-husband, and she has decided to put it on the market. It is a Spanish colonial in the Hollywood Hills, and it's on the market for $2.7 million.
Not bad. What depending on all the Hollywood Hills. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a cute place. It's about 3,400 square feet, built
That
in
is a cute place.
1930. And it's got tile and like wrought iron, and it just looks like what you imagine when you think of a Hollywood bungalow from the 1930s.
Yeah,
Really,
3,400
really
square feet, pretty big to be a bungalow. That's a fairly big house.
right, but it's not modern. It just looks like a bungalow, even though it's big. It's got this real homey feel to it, real period pieces throughout. And then there's the Viking appliances, but it's got like a farmhouse feel. So it could be yours for $2.7 million.
I wonder what's wrong with it, to be honest with you. That's
She lived in
really
it with
cheap
him.
for a 3,400 square foot house in the Hollywood Hills. That thing on the Bird Streets in the Hollywood Hills, and I don't know why everybody likes those so much, but they do. That house would be $11 million, $13 million.
wow.
And that's the same neck of the woods. The Hollywood Hills exist, there's a beginning and an end to them.
Maybe she just really wants to get rid of
Yeah,
it.
maybe,
Doesn't want the
maybe.
memories.
Dave Grohl and Pat Smear will share the stage alongside a familiar face when Foo Fighters visit Safeco Field on September 1st. Former Nirvana bassist Chris Novoselic and his band Giants in the Trees are set to open the show.
Cool.
This group features Novoselic playing alongside some other Washington musicians, Jillian Ray, Eric Friend, Ray Prestigar, and they, are going to get the band back together,
Right.
so to speak. I
Now,
mean,
is that just Seattle?
No, a handful of dates. They're doing another one in San Bernardino, and I think they've got one other date as well, but they're not going out on tour with them.
Where the hell do you play in San Bernardino?
It's a
They're playing a
music
couple
festival.
of festivals, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Cal Jam Festival in San Bernardino, October 6th. And it makes you wonder what else is going to happen during that show.
They're going to play some Giant in the Trees songs.
No.
That's what Nirvana's going to get back together to do some Giants in the Trees songs. That's what's going to happen.
The majority of Nirvana together, they have to come back on
Of
stage
course.
and do a Nirvana
No, they
song.
have, yeah, absolutely.
We will give you another chance to win your way into that show. It should be spectacular on tomorrow's show at 7:20. An elephant that once lived at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch.
It's in the room and nobody's talking about it. Quality.
And a great score from yourself, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Quality score.
The elephant that once lived at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch escaped from its enclosure at a Florida zoo yesterday. The Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens posted on Facebook that Ali the bull elephant wandered through a gate that was accidentally left open and wound up hanging out with the giraffes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think they get along. Like I've seen them in other, like here at our zoo.
Yeah, it seems like that's how it's meant to be. They should be put together.
Everybody likes everything except lions and tigers, I think.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you think that that's not something that should be able to happen? Like
That Michael Jackson should own an elephant.
That too. No, but that they would leave a door open that an elephant could just wander out.
Yeah, there should be at least 2 doors that
Yeah.
an elephant has to go through.
And you should check ID,
Yeah.
I think. Hell, it's like the 400-pound gorilla. Just nobody discusses it anymore. do I take points away from my quality, or do I leave that by itself and live in the shame of that moment?
We're taking points away. So
Fair enough, then.
You might as well, too.
Let's take a look at sports. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. The Mariners were off yesterday, but they are on the road, a big road trip, playing the New York Yankees. 4:05 start time on Root Sports. You will see Marco Gonzalez on the mound versus Domingo German. On to the Seahawks. They will kick off training camp on July 26th, the team just announced. 12 of those practices will be open to the public.
Cool.
Registration for those practices will open first come, first serve. And then there's a 13th practice that will be open to season ticket holders only. If you would like to attend, you have to register for tickets, Seahawks.com/training camp. So as I said, it is first come, first serve, but you do need to register to be considered.
And did you say registration's open now, or when can we register?
The tickets, the registration for the practices will be open Thursday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, okay. And they'll go quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are a minor under the age of 15, you've got to go with an adult, by the way. Don't want a bunch of pesky kids running around there.
Yeah, and how'd you even get there if you're 15?
Uber.
Oh, that's right. That's what my kid
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It's a shock to me. Like, I talked to him about do this, and we'll talk about you getting a car, son. He is not interested in a car. Kids today.
In the most tangible piece of evidence yet that the NFL wants to keep playing games in London, the league has paid for an NFL-only field to be on the grounds of a new soccer stadium for Tottenham Hotspur.
Wow.
This is a big deal.
Yeah.
The stadium, they said, will be able to switch between an NFL game and a soccer game. So it wouldn't be...
NFL only.
Okay. That suddenly doesn't sound the same.
They said the new stadium is being built, and it's a turf field that the NFL will play on. They'd be able to switch between that field for NFL games and then a grass field for soccer games.
Yeah, because field turf is what we play on.
Yeah. And
the Seahawks.
they played soccer on grass, at least internationally. They
Right.
played
Right.
soccer on grass.
So that's been the complaint about American football in London. The type of grass pitch that soccer teams use don't have the proper footing for American football. That has resulted in players slipping and sliding and the pitch getting torn up.
So when we go over there now, we play it on grass?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it is. They're building a stadium where they can switch back and forth just for the NFL.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like turf better. I do. I'm a big fan of turf.
They say, and particularly the soccer players say, it's a lot harder on their knees, and it's just
I don't think
it's less
that's-
forgiving than
I
the
don't think
grass.
it's true. I think they're being babies because you can actually pad it. You can't pad dirt.
Yeah.
The field will be used for the first time on October 14th when the Seahawks face the Raiders. That's exciting.
In England.
In England.
Yeah.
Wow.
And UW baseball had a rough game. Washington had a lead of 3-0 and then 5-4 before a weather delay. A massive storm rolled in at the top of the 6th inning. The Beavers had the bases loaded with 2 outs when play was stopped, and when play resumed, next thing you knew, it was 14-5.
Yikes.
So it was a great season for the Huskies that they saw come to a close yesterday. And tonight, the Seattle Storm have a game at 7, playing the Las Vegas Aces. And
that's their name, the Las Vegas Aces? I didn't know that.
The Body Issue was announced this morning. ESPN, the magazine's Body Issue, will be on newsstands in just 10 days. And you are going to see some Seattle Storm on there. You're going to see a whole lot of bodies on there. We are finding out that Seattle Storm teammates Brianna Stewart and Sue Bird will take part. Olympic figure skater Adam Rippon and a rookie running back for the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley. They're going to have some older folks as well. We've got golf's Greg Norman and football's Jerry Rice.
And does everybody know what the Body Issue is?
Naked people.
Yeah, they're naked, but they're posed in a way that you can't see their bits and things.
Right.
But they're athletes posing with no clothes, so that you can see the muscles and stuff.
This isn't brand new.
No,
Right.
no, 10th
Okay.
anniversary. This is like the swimsuit edition for Sports Illustrated, but it's not about women in bathing suits. It's about showing the athletic body.
Naked.
So this is ESPN's like take on that, but it's pretty amazing, this issue when it comes out, because these people are insane.
They're so muscular. Yeah,
so
fit.
muscular, in such good shape, and you see muscles on them that you did not know existed on the human body.
Well, that's got to be weird looking.
What kind of shape is Greg Norman in, though? An older golfer.
Yep.
I'm not sure that he's in the same kind of shape as some of the current athletes, is he?
Jerry Rice, former football player, Hall of Famer.
Jerry Rice still keeps in shape, I'm sure.
Doesn't he have a TV commercial running talking about keeping in shape?
Yeah, probably.
I think he does.
Oh, Greg Norman, it turns out, is extremely fit.
Nice. For a golfer, who would have thunk it?
Yeah, an Australian golfer, and he wears one of those Crocodile Dundee hats, so that's kind of cool. I hope he wears that in the Body Issue.
With nothing else.
Well, no,
Nothing
he
else?
wears it, just not on his head.
Yeah, okay.
It dangles suspended, if you know what I'm saying.
That's not a knife. This is a knife. You know what I mean?
The Washington Capitals were the winners of this year's Stanley Cup, and just moments later, their coach, Barry Trotz, has resigned as head coach. Word is they could not come to an agreement about the contract. The departure seems to be about money and respect. And they said they couldn't come to an agreement, so he said, peace out.
Wow, I'm shocked by that. Usually that's when you ask for more money and get it.
Yeah.
It's a big surprise, and we'll see where he goes. World Cup action. Yesterday, Sweden defeated South Korea 1-0. Belgium defeated Panama.
Go,
3-0.
go Belgium.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
England defeated Tunisia 2-1.
Tunisia. Nobody's going to do it with me?
I bless the rains.
Look what you did, man. You did this.
It'll take time. Today, Colombia versus Japan. And Colombia was victorious. No, who won, Derek? Japan or Columbus?
Japan won 2-1.
Thank you.
Take that, Colombia.
I had the score and not the winner. Oops. Poland and Senegal are currently playing. Is there a score on that game?
They are in the
Match.
57th minute. Senegal is leading 1-0.
Oh, interesting. And later this morning, 11 a.m., we've got Russia versus Egypt. That is your sports, brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUIOA. That's 1-800-DUIOA. Tomorrow on the show, make sure you are here at 7:50 for Jelly Bean's Joke of the Week.
Yay.
Hey.
Remember that one she told these two hookers walk into a bar? I thought that was so funny.
Always funny.
I like the Yo Mama joke.
Oh, that was great, too.
Yeah. And of course, as I said, Foo Fighters tickets could be yours, giving you a chance to win those at 7:20. We've got Mariners tickets for you at 7:45. Pack show. Don't miss any of it.
It was lovely. Yesterday I was talking to Steve Slayton off the air, just sitting around in this room, and we're talking about maybe going on a vacation together. You know where we're going to go?
Where?
Panama. There, I joined in. You happy now?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, Steve Slayton's going to come in this room and he's going to play you a bunch of classic rock and roll because that's what he does. We will get out of his way. So, bye.